as protesters shut down the entrance to Seattle's airport. The same movement was able to block parts of the Brooklyn Bridge in New York, and also the entrance to Chicago's airport as well, employing this chain ourselves to each other through plastic pipes tactic that, in my opinion, should just make it easier to remove them from the road, like dragging a stake made out of unemployed useless people off the street. But apparently they also blocked the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco to Oakland, where commuters were stuck on the road for over 6 hours. Now, some drivers became irate at the activists.
Get around! You don't understand! You think I care? You're in the road! Please calm down! Please calm down! You're being filmed! Thank you! Thank you!
But sadly, California's Highway Patrol appeared puzzled at the protesters' wall of unemployedness, as they added barrels to their blockade of likely EBT recipients. Now, these barrels apparently were filled with concrete that the coppers had to bolt cut them out of, to which they weren't even actually locked into.
Alright, let go of your fingers. Let go. Let go. Let go.
Oh, they're twisting it.
Let go.
They're twisting it for no reason.
Let go of the bar. Let go of the bar.
Western Medical.
Let go of the bar.
Stop squeezing my hand and twisting it. The rebar is cutting the inside of my hand. Stop. Stop. Stop.
Let go of the rebar.
Stop. You're hurting me.
Let go
Stop.
of the rebar.
He's free.
He's free.
Take him out.
You got the arms? Okay. Get a set on. Bye.
And what an infuriatingly stupid way to spend your Saturday. Not even stuck inside a barrel on the street, but just holding on to a stick so you can't be removed from the roads. And I know, this happened on April 16th, which was a Tuesday, but every day is a Saturday when you're unemployed. And I just can't imagine anyone working a soul-crushing job trying to survive this economy that on their days off, they would voluntarily work a shift on the bridge in the barrel-clutching industry. But the worst part about all of this is even though the CHP eventually made several arrests, they posted on social media about why it took them that long to make those said arrests, to which the replies asked why they waited around for over 2 hours to do so, telling them they seemed to lack testes for tyrants, and where were the water cannons? Because right after they were detained, the San Francisco DA apparently stated they needed more evidence to hold them accountable, and later that same day, they were quickly released from jail. So even after all the fanfare of being cut open and cuffed for the cameras, at the end of the day, it still won't change a thing. And I don't think these protesters even care about being sent to jail, as it practically just gives them more credibility on their social media echo chambers. And the simple fact that these protests only take place in these deep blue cities like San Francisco, New York City, Chicago, and Seattle really shows you that they're basically immune to any actual consequences for their actions. Because in other countries, adults blocking the streets aren't treated like American toddlers. Even in deep red Florida, the centipede of pathetic people is easily shoved to the sidewalk. And the Native American tribal police eliminate their roadblocks immediately.
Did anyone get that?
Get out now! Get out! On the ground! All of you on the ground now! Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
So it's almost like law enforcement knows how to quickly handle these street nuisances, but for some reason, they choose to allow this to happen. Because let's be clear, the street-level coppers do nothing by orders of their sergeants and lieutenants, who listens to guidance by their chief, who listens to these hard-left Democrat mayors, and they wholeheartedly know progressives only stay in power when they harness the chaos emerald that is useless idiots brown-shirting for their political ideologies in the streets. And as long as they keep using their powers granted to them by EBT and unlimited free time on only the average innocent citizen just trying to get to work, the authorities will allow them to bang on their drums shouting all day long until it's nap time. Because when that same movement tries to protest against the left-leaning Alphabet and storm the Google CEO's office, sure, this looks as harmless and useless as the people chained to barrels, nay, holding on to barrels while blocking the bridges. It took Google all of 1 day to fire all 28 of those employees that were likely making around $200,000 salaries. And we saw similar stuff with those other big tech companies as well. Jeff Bezos owned Washington Post defending mail-in voting for the country, but when it comes to his own Amazon facilities, all unionizing votes must be done in person on voting day. And these protesters can block any bridge they like unless it happens to hold a particular politician's motorcade, then suddenly the local PD is allowed to go tribal, which the hypocrisy isn't as surprising as it's pretty much standard at this point. But Zero Sum on X made the best point, and how the mass blocking of bridges, businesses, and more all across the country does nothing for their demands of a ceasefire, but it is a show of force that all these activists can shut down bridges, businesses, and whatever else at command, which I really hate the argument I see all the time. Well, these protesters are just really about awareness, and you are talking about their movement, when no. The protests aren't about retweets, they're about accomplishing a specific action. But these useful idiots are so dense that they don't even realize they're being used as pawns in a much larger scheme, as no amount of chaining yourself to a pipe with your best buddies to a bridge is going to stop the US military-industrial complex from getting their millions. But how useful are you to that same political party that isn't listening to your demands to show the world the sheer power behind having control over the entire unemployed class? As I remember back in 2020, when right before the ballots were counted, businesses in left-wing cities nationwide were boarding up their windows, in the event that these same activists didn't get their way politically. So how convenient that next election cycle we're seeing nearly identical behavior from this same political party, where law and order can only be accomplished when they get exactly what they demand, as NYPD can only deploy their crime-fighting Bluetooth speaker to quell the protests.
Will be arrested and charged with trespassing. This is the New York Police Department. You are an unauthorized encampment.
And even when they do make arrests on the protests, this sea of senseless men and women will just block the cops from driving their friends off to jail. So as spicy as things are getting already, I imagine it's only gonna get worse. I just always found it funny that at least in the world of anime, the world can be ending, protagonists can be getting evaporated, but as long as there's this catchy little outro sequence, you're always still hyped to come back and watch more. So hopefully my new and improved anime outro will do the same.
いつもくしれない臭い洗礼パレカメン